Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Langrisser Mobile. Alright, it's a new month, which means new characters up and all sorts of other things. As for the other things, main things to note is exclusive equipment for Listel. Listel's helmet provides additional defensive M defense when her HP is high, and whenever she deals damage, she'll do additional debuff. Nothing really that changes her as far as meta is concerned, but if you are interested in trying to have additional options for debuffs for Fenrir, I mean, this is a unique debuff, so that can definitely stand out. So that's about the only use. I went ahead and got it just simply because it's a unique helmet for her, and she didn't really have a special helmet to begin with. And then the other one that's a bit more important is for Sissy White. She got Business Mind, which is a helmet as well. As always, for casters and healers, if they're exclusive as a helmet, it's going to be competing against a Tenyo, the Tenyo headdress rather. And in this case, this is definitely one that rivals it. It provides HP, which is always good, and there's a 50% chance at the start of a turn to get 2 war coins. If unsuccessful, it goes up to 100%, and then every time you're successful, it goes back to 50%. So what this means, a 6-star Sissy White gets 2 coins per turn, just by default from her talent. With this will guarantee that you'll get 6 coins every 2 turns. If you're lucky, you'll get 8 coins every 2 turns, which is really good. Essentially means you don't it's one less turn you have to wait to get the necessary 5 coins to activate what's it called? Desperate Measures. It also makes it so you don't feel as bad about using other coin-related abilities, but since you have a more steady rate of income, because there's not really many ways to get coins with Sissy White. The only other 2 ways to get coins is through her 3C passive, which is just a refund of 1 coin from after letting your summon unit die. And the only other way is also through her 3C, which is using, well, actually I think there might be one other way, but there's a long-term investment can award you coins, but that requires you to actually get kills, which means it's more of a snowball effect. I'm just seeing if there is another way. Nope, there is no other way. So yeah, those are the only ways to get coins. So having an exclusive that actually helps her coin income is really useful. Alright, besides that, there are also new troops. The 2 new troops are Siege Ballista, which has increased range and increased attack. If they had not moved, their attack is increased even further. But if you end up moving more than 3 blocks, your damage will decrease drastically. So this is essentially just much better version of catapults. The problem with catapults, of course, was it just flat out reduced your damage, like most things that increase range. But this one actually has means to increase attack as long as you're not moving around too much. So it definitely has its uses. Not sure how useful it is overall for me, but it's definitely very useful for characters that are extremely long range, such as young Jessica, especially ones that are immobile. And then the other new troop is the Mechanical Dragonite. So these guys get, I believe they get upwards to 20% attack and defense, just flat out. And if they're ever attacked in melee, they take reduced damage up to 20%. Only things I guess that stand out is it is a 45 attack, which is the highest. Well, tied for the highest rather. So it does give other options besides Griffin Knights. And I guess the other thing that's a trade-off for compared to Griffin Knights is while they don't have as a high of an attack boost, theirs is not related to soldier HP. So even when they're a low HP, they'll still get their flat 20% attack and defense. So there's that. Unfortunately, it's not super useful. I mean, I guess it might be useful for Nada, and that's about it. But I don't know. I'll still build them because they're a new troop, and they're at least not ultra terrible. But yeah, nothing too special. It'll be next month, I believe, is when the real fancy stuff like the zombies and stuff come out. In any case, with all that said and done, let's. I guess the other things to point out is the guild expedition has just started. I was not expecting one so soon, but we do have another one, and I guess, and it looks like there's no other special events going on. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and go to summons. Where are my summons? Oh, there they are. Not used to that new UI. Alright, so we got set sail on the Ship of Hope, which has essentially quote-unquote old Ares and old Lycoris. So we got Emperor Levina, who's the new protagonist faction buffer. So they finally got their second one. Unfortunately, it's a male character, so I will not be using him. As of right now, I know Emperor Levina is used for some bonds, but not any of the characters I care for, so it should be good to go there. And then Saintess of the Ark, of course, is old Lycoris, who's essentially just a kind of another Bozal type for the most part. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive right into this. So I don't know if we're anywhere towards pity. I'm assuming we're not, so here goes nothing. I wouldn't mind getting both, but obviously I'm interested in just getting Saintess of the Ark. Right off the bat, huh? So 110 pull. I think I will pull for both just in case. Off banner Marielle. My Marielle is already 6 stars, so it's not the best situation. So, yep. I mean, it gets us some additional shards, but that's about it. Alright, well, we'll keep pulling. Got that out of the way, at least. Also, I believe new story bits are coming out, or have come out as well. Not sure, but there might be new time rifts as well, but I didn't really take a look that far. I usually wait a while before I do any of the time rifts. Alright, so that's 30 so far. Probably a bad time to mention, but the last time I had a banner that involves any sort of Ares type character, I had extremely bad luck. I ended up getting a 6-star Ares before I even got the other character. I think this is 50. But since we got our other SSR within 10, we're still kind of within average. But I have a feeling this is going to go pity. Overall, Saintess of the Ark isn't really anything meta-defining, rather. But she is a female character that has access to sleep, which is a spell I haven't had access to because the only characters I think that had that was Bozal. So it's a bit different. She does kind of give up all of her fancy heals in exchange for just being essentially kind of another type of Bozal. Unfortunately, her transformation is a bit more volatile and a little harder to use because there's at least one turn where you lose control of the character and then she explodes, which in PvP is not the most useful. Alright, next one should be Pity. I did see some matches where she did reasonably well. She was almost like a magic version of Joshua. She had her long range line AoE that she kind of used to snipe people. So I don't know. I may try using her in the future if I ever switch over to AoE, but I haven't brought myself to do it yet. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Alright. Well, Almighty Leader, former Emperor of Dresden, now ruler of the Ark, Elysium. Okay. So, straight to pity. So, technically, we're a little above average now. Or below average, I believe is the term. Okay, well, that balanced it out quite a bit. Question is am I going to get another jerk? Emperor Levina is not as ridiculous as far as compared to Ares. Back in his old days, rather. But he does have some quirkiness to him with some fancy teleports and kind of a mixture of both single target and AoE. Okay. Well, can't complain. I got both characters within 120 summons? That's ridiculous. Arc Saintess, a young girl who fights against the darkness in her heart. Okay, we got both. Give me 1 moment and I will get her all leveled up. Alright, that took a bit, but first I'll go ahead and just talk briefly about Emperor Levina here. This is at 3 stars, of course, so for every 1 unit within 1 ring, damage is increased by a percentage. Before end of action, you can deploy 2 other ally units, after which you gain +1 mobility for 1 turn. Deployment has 4 turn cooldown. So what deployment does is essentially it can teleport a unit 2 spaces, which can be useful for like reshuffling units and getting people back into guard range and things like that. Alright. Besides that, I'm not going to go any further with him. He's a faction buffer. He has a pretty brutal physical AoE, and I believe he has some sort of fancy single target attack. In any case, let's see, where are you at? There you are, Saintess of the Ark. So, int increases with units HP up to a maximum of 10%. After actively dealing damage to an enemy, there's a 50% chance. At 6 stars, this becomes 100% to afflict him with 1 strong debuff. After taking damage from an attack, same thing. So it's kind of like Bozel's ability, except it also works whenever she takes damage as well. Alright, so things to note, of course, she kind of has a lot of the standard things that Bozel has: sleep, black hole, even has access to things like Forget and Acid Burns and Dark Repair. Her unique spell is Light Convergence, which puts her in a Hex state, increases damage by 20% and mobility by +1. After dealing damage to an enemy, it inflicts 2 random debuffs. So on top of her talent, that's 3 debuffs every time she does damage. Lasts for 3 turns. On the last turn remaining, she becomes uncontrollable and takes 80% reduced damage. Can't be moved, displaced, or teleported. And then after taking action, do 0.4 times magic damage to all units in 4 straight lines adjacent to the hero. And targets are afflicted with 3 random debuffs. After that ends, she recovers to full HP and skill cooldowns reduced by 3. So with that, essentially, it will refresh her transformation. So the AOE part is essentially similar to a hashtag symbol around her, and it's infinite range. So it's kind of interesting. The bad part is it does hurt allies, so you can blow yourself up. Her other unique spell that's available right now is Cryptic Light. It's a 7 block range line AoE that does 3.33 times AoE damage. It inflicts 1 random debuff and makes it so they can't act again. The not act again part is actually pretty useful since 7 range is pretty far. What I kind of seen people use her for in PvP is just kind of just sniping people with this. Just hit them once and twice, and that usually is enough to do enough damage. In any case, her gear right now, I went Miracle Staff, I went Clock, because honestly, her cooldowns are very long, so you kind of have to go Clock with her. And then Soldier, she kind of has a variety. And then classes, she can either go Demon or she can go Mage. As always, unless you have a way of negating the penalty, you're better off going Mage in this case. So, we'll go ahead and dive right into the Awakenings. At this point, the only Awakenings that'll become available are from new characters, so no longer a big list to go through. The Endless Darkness has not yet fallen silent. The struggle between myself and the darkness will never cease. Okay. Alright. Okay, you do have fancy nonsense. Okay. We'll see how this plays. So, honestly, not too bad. I mean, Light of Genesis is going to be the biggest issue. Alright, well, with that in mind, let's I'm gonna go ahead and do transformation. I should have brought in fact, you know what? Let's retreat. I should have brought Dark Reaper. Sorry about that. Keep the line AoE though. Alright. And then I'm gonna stay outside of range this time. Actually, I think I'm still within range. Nope, I'm not. Okay, so with that I can now do this. That's much better. So I'm gonna be a bit cheeky here. Oh, it is an infinite range. I thought it was. At least on I guess not on a big map like this. Well, in any case, we'll do this then. This is pretty funny though. She's literally not able to do anything. Get a bunch of debuffs, now you're silenced, have fun. Can't even hurt me. That converges again. Fortunately, she outranges me, but that's fine. I am running out of time, unfortunately. You're gonna end up stepping away for a turn. Oh well, we'll just do this. And kill you anyway. So yeah, the transformation is a bit rough, because it costs you a turn. Not only that, her transformation itself doesn't give an act again. It doesn't reduce buffs at least, but it doesn't give an act again. Okay, get that. So The vortex of light and darkness has become clear to me. I know I will walk my own path. Alright, let's see how fast I can do this. What do you have? Okay, you do have the transformation and all your fancy AoEs. And speaking of, I will also get all my fancy AoEs. Alright. Give this Alright, well with this I could go in and attack immediately. Or I can make them come to me. We'll do it like this. So flying slash, range 2, 1.4 times, restores HP. If your mobility is higher, you get first strike, and it'll include melee soldiers. And gotta move again thing, and that's about it. Okay. I'm not gonna do the teleport shenanigans. Light mirror. The light mirror is actually gonna be a bit annoying. Okay, so I see what they're doing. Alright, well, that's a problem. But I will happily... Dealing with you might be more important. Oh, I don't have the other ability. Okay. Noted. Then we will deal with you. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, inflicted damage, that's fine. A little bit overkill. Not gonna shuffle. And we're just gonna pop ya. So as you can see, even with an AoE, I get debuffed back. Sword dance. Of course, it reflected the debuff, which is actually kind of funny because the reflect I don't think gets will actually bypass the mirror. Okay. Oh, well, actually, yeah, it did. It only lasted for one turn. Okay. Thank you, Tenya Breeze. We'll just deal with you first. Okay. Wow, no damage. Not much I can do here. So yeah, it almost covers the entire small map. You can just tank it. Let's just deal with you. Alright, now I can do... Oh, I can't control when that turn ends. Okay. Not a huge deal. Pow. Out of all the debuffs, I didn't get heal negate. Alright. Well, we're just gonna do this. Okay, done with that. Alright. She's heal negated, so that is it for that. Bit sloppy, but it's all good. I have to actually kill the staff. Okay. There we go. Alright. There we go. Alright. Attacks all enemies in 3 straight lines, doing 3.8 times AoE damage and inflicting 2 random debuffs. If the hero is in her transformation state, any holy class enemies will be swapped to demon class for 2 turns. So kind of a unique way to kind of do some shenanigans with holy classes, since those are pretty abundant. Unfortunately, since she can't become holy class herself, she can't really take advantage of it, so you would have to bring some other holy character or holy troops to actually capitalize on it. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I am the Depressed Eeyore. This was Langrisser Mobile, and I'll see you guys in the next Apex match. See ya.